your point, you had a hugely successful journey as joining these companies early, and a lot of the times, people who end up becoming founders could have had a better journey if they had just joined a promising company. So, can you say a bit more also how about this journey? How like why is it sometimes better to join not as a founder?
So I thought a lot about this, and the current economic system has produced the most valuable companies in the world by far in my industry in the last decade in the United States and China. And they all have the following property. They have investors who fund the companies. They have places where the people are incubated. The people are often extremely young, untested, very self-confident, arrogant, whatever you want to call them, and they disagree with something, and then they have this other interesting idea. They have a new insight. Now, the problem with those insights is that often those insights are a product feature, not a platform or a product. In other words, they've come up with a better way of doing X, and X is an important component of this bigger system. Usually, those founders end up getting acquired. There are very, very few ideas that can really grow at that. So there's a natural inefficiency in the market in that those people should have gone to the winning company in the first place. On the other hand, to argue against that point, think of it this way. Why does a company buy a smaller company in the first place? Well, presumably because they need that function. So over and over again, what I've seen is that the startup founders are fighting essentially a validation game, and that whoever emerges among the startups is the one you should buy. And then the rest should be garbage collected. And I mean that people should end up in other roles and so forth. But usually you do what are called acqui-hires in these companies. What you're paying, whatever that price you're paying for the people, which is obviously value, but you're also paying for knowing that they're best in what they do right now, which you don't know when you're a CEO for your normal teams. So what I like about this model is that as long as revenue is going up and as long as valuations are insane, which seems to be most of the time in the winners anyway, which is remarkable,
Yeah.
it allows the company, the big company, to buy a little company. They get the winner, but most importantly, they get the winning people, right? And then the other companies, which is, remember that 9 out of 10 companies don't make it in the way we're discussing. In some cases, it's much worse than that. The traditional number in venture is that 4 go completely out of business and 5 become the living dead, which means they are not growing and you can't get rid of them. And that's, of course, the most uncomfortable. When you do something, you want either a quick no or a long-term yes. You don't want to be stuck in that middle where you can't grow and you can't shrink. And I've seen that in a number of cases.
Yeah.